many more times I leave you with that?
What do you want?
I can't breathe. Please, the knee in my dick. I can't breathe shit.
Bro, get up, get in the car, man.
I will.
Get up, get in the car.
I can't move.
I've been waiting the whole thing, man. Bro, get up, get in the car.
Mama.
Get up, get in the car right.
I can't.
I hear that I can't breathe every time. I hear it, and what bothered me the most is that he reached out and called for his mother. We done heard the I can't breathe phrase so much, but to see a grown man reach out and say, Mama, I mean, it just puts it all in perspective, where we are and why I wanted to have real talk, and why I wanted to go around the country and talk to people that are on the front line. And I'm tired of the knee being on our neck. I'm tired of the injustice in education. I'm tired of the police brutality. I'm tired of the injustice in economics. I'm tired of all the disparities that were happening. And as a people, I applaud the protesters who are out there doing things about it. I got my man. I want to go to Atlanta, first. So I'm waiting for my partner, Frank Ski. Frank, what up, man?
What's happening, Kev?
Man, I'm fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like, first off, I want to say Mayor Keisha Bottoms is doing an amazing job in Atlanta. I want to give a big shout out and prayer to all my friends and family in Atlanta and check on you just as an individual. We talk all the time, but these times you and I lived every bit of the police brutality, even in Baltimore. And so we sit here today. I wanted to give you an opportunity to tell me what's the state in Atlanta.
It's very interesting, Kev, that this here, we did a Zoom call yesterday with some young Black leaders in the community because we're setting up at the radio station. We're going to set up something really special in a town hall format. And we wanted to reach out to the young people exclusively because I really believe that the movement that we're seeing in America now is different because this movement is all about young people. And the young people are leading the charge for this movement. And it's very interesting that the young people that are leading this charge in this movement feel really disconnected, right? So they feel, in our conversations with these leaders in the youth that are out there doing all the protesting, especially here in Atlanta, they feel disconnected because they feel that the old guard of protesting and the people that did it and our age group and whatnot, they feel disconnected from us. And there were some very good points that they all brought up. And these are young people that are predominantly in college age. And they brought up that they don't know how to put together the leadership. So they know they have to do something. They just don't know what to do. They know they have to be in the streets and protest, but they actually don't really know how to put a plan together to get the results that they need. So basically, there are several different groups that are organizing. All of these student groups asked for several things. Number one, they want to bring power back to the community. They feel like the Black community has lost power. Number two, they want somebody to come and teach what leadership is and looks like. Number three, they want to know what organizing looks like. Number four, they feel like they've tried nonviolence and that's not working. And wreaking havoc is the only way they're getting the attention that they need to get to be heard. They don't know what else to do. And Kev, this is a very interesting point here. They don't even know legally what they're allowed to do. Watch that. They say that there's many deeper issues that are not being addressed. And here's the biggest point that I took away. All of these students, and a lot of them went to Atlanta public schools. They're in the Atlanta school system, here in the hub of civil rights, and they feel like they did not learn Black history until they got to college. And they feel that part of the disconnect is that nobody is teaching them their history, so therefore nobody is teaching them their self-worth, and they're not realizing that until they get to college. And they have to take it as a course in college that they go through. Outside of Martin Luther King, they don't really learn much about Black history and who we are as a people. The other point, which I'm glad you asked me to be on here, Kev, is because I asked them who they look up to. And because we've had T.I. on the news with the mayor, we had Killer Mike on the mayor, and they said, they don't represent us.
Wow.
We like them, we respect them, but they don't represent us. Who represents us? Gunna, Lil Baby. That's who they want to hear from, because that's who represents them collectively. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they really feel like they're kind of out here lost and they don't have anything. And someone even said, when are the rappers that are in our generation going to put out a song about this that's going on now? Like we had many songs, right? We had self-destruction and a whole lot of things that were going on in our community, and they're waiting for these younger guys to come out and say something and do something. And I'm so glad that you asked me to be on here so I can tell you that.
Well, listen, Frank, the important thing, I started the show with a Trey new record, called How Many More Times, the 2020 Riots. And I got a special way to end the show with T Grizzly's message called Mr. Officer.
Wow.
And there's a whole lot of conversation going on now, because you and I lived NWA and Public Enemy and the whole Boogie Down production, Mr. Officer, policeman, it's important that we engage them. And I always tell people, when you're leading a culture, you got to find a way, nurture a way, but you also got to know how to get out of the way. So if I was living that life of, I was the president of Def Jam or executive vice president of Warner, and I wasn't creating 300, where Gunna's there, where Young Thug's there, where T Grizzly's there, where Meg Thee Stallion. If you notice something about all of them, they're all being socially conscious. Chad Glizzy, our boy, bought a food truck out in D.C. for the protesters. So it's part of leadership, and it's part of owning the space. So, I'm not one to sit on the sideline. I'm one to be fully involved and engage my friends. So I appreciate you bringing that message to us. I'm going to talk to a lot of other people today, but I wanted to kick it off with you. And a shout out to Atlanta. Please, guys, don't tear up the city that you helped build. Please make sure that you understand that if those businesses are not able to come back, they're not going to be jobs to come back. So to all my congressmen and senators there, I want you to really get back into the community, because it starts with us listening. And what the young people are saying to us, we have to listen to them. And that's why I wanted to get on here, fuck all the politics and everything. I wanted to get on here and actually have real talk, because not only am I preaching and protesting, I'm also listening. So I appreciate it, man. Love to the family.
Appreciate it, Kev.
And keep a
Love you, fam.
All right, thanks.
All right.
Appreciate it. What this all comes down to is policy. And policy is not effective unless we get out and vote. And get to know your congressman, your local senator, get to know your mayor, get to know your governor. I told people about policing. A lot of us don't know where policing comes from. Well, policing in the slave days, they used to have a group of guys that went out and caught the slaves that ran away. That's how it started. And we're in 2020 now, and I feel like it's the same thing. So if you're black and in Philly, Detroit, Milwaukee, and you're not registered to vote, get your ass damn register. This is something that's today. Go to vote.org to figure it out and get set up. I just wanted to say that the consequences are so great right now if we don't vote. If we don't get out, only 60% of Americans voted in 2012. Only 59% voted in 2016. Now, how the fuck we gonna go backwards? How the fuck we gonna go backwards when we had the first African-American president, and we're gonna go backwards in the vote? It's important. And again, go to vote.org to find out all the information. And more importantly, stop being fucking lazy. A lot of people ask me, well, what can I do? We know what to do to be professional basketball players. We know what to do to be professional football players. We know what we do to put out records. We know what to do to be fathers. We know what to do to have babies. So why would we know what to do in a situation where God has pressed reset? And this is our biblical times where he said, I'm going to give y'all a pandemic. I'm going to make your asses go home and eat dinner with your family and have lunch with your family and know what homeschooling is and know what the act of love is and the act of kindness is. And I'm going to make you be in, sometimes if you're single, in the house by yourself. I'm going to make you sit and press reset because these are our biblical times. This is your life. It's not something that we playing around with. And I think God made us press reset and get back to having, I think I love Reverend Al. He said, listen, there's one thing, the protest, and it's another thing to have faith with that protest. That faith that'll make sure that you understand that anything that God does to us, there's a silver lining. I want to actually go to Minnesota. I want to actually talk to the streets of Minnesota. And so I'm going to bring my guy, Minnesota Fats. You know, he's in a real battle, doing things. What up, Young?
What's up, my brother? How you doing?
Man, listen, first off, I'm just glad to see your face. I'm just glad that you're here.
I'm glad for you to see my face, Church.
Yeah, I'm just glad that you know the rule. You know, you teach one, you reach one, but you also got to protect one.
We out here fighting for our lives, huh? You know, they doing things to us that, you know, are inhumane. You know, I'm a man before I'm anything, as you know. You know what I mean? I'm very educated. I'm very deep in my community. And to watch another young brother get, you know, killed and his life taken, and there's nothing you can do, I'm tired of feeling helpless. As strong as I am, I shouldn't have to feel helpless. You know what I mean? And it's not just the fact that we have, you know, Minnesota has a different epidemic than the rest of the world. We have a lack of cultural big homies. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sugarcoat shit because I'm going to lie with Kevin Liles. So I'm going to keep it one.
We don't sugarcoat facts. We ain't sugarcoating shit.
We ain't sugarcoating shit. We have a lack of real men up here. You know what I'm saying? And I'll go to head to head with anybody that think that I'm saying something that they don't like. You know, there is no Kevin Liles up here. There is no Russell Simmons, no JoJo Prims. There's nobody up here that we can lean to for knowledge. And they know that. You know what I'm saying? So they do confusing shit to us. You know what I'm saying? They send us to schools. How do you have disposable income, but we got one of the biggest literacy gaps in the country? You know, big homie, tell me how the fuck Minnesota got a literacy gap as big as Mississippi. And I'm not saying nothing about Mississippi, but we know development, a state that they never had no slaves to a state that would have had to deal with Jim Crow, and they have a literacy gap. The fuck out of here. Tell me how you live in a fucking state where the governor called you colored. Last time I checked, big homie, it went nigger, colored, black, African American. That means these motherfuckers still stuck down here with nigger. I'll be damned. I paid y'all money to go to y'all punk ass college. I paid y'all money to take them punk ass master communication classes, and then you gonna disrespect me in the field and put your knee on my neck like I'm a monkey? It's already a glass ceiling I gotta deal with. You know what I mean? I already gotta go 1,500 fucking miles or talk to you over this thing to get some real game, because ain't no culture up here, because they still Dred Scott up here. This systematic oppressed ass state, and finally we got some brothers together. We got the youth. The youth is tired. We tired, and we just came together and we bonded, and we ain't letting up, big homie.
So first off, the whole education system needs to be blown up. They're not educating us, man. They're teaching us what they think we need to go out there and work for them. This is not like I said. You got some house Negroes too. You know what I mean? You got people who ain't doing what they're supposed to do in the positions that they in. This is us as a people that have to. We got to have this dialogue. You know, we got to make sure that we understand that if it's education, you know, the lack of education, we got to disrupt. We're going to disrupt the education system. You know, if it's police brutality, we're going to disrupt police brutality. You know, I'm just making sure that there is a connection. Like, you know, I can go anywhere in the world and talk to the streets. I just know, you know, what it is, and the respect is there between it. But now we got to mobilize and organize and make sure we protecting our own. There's no goddamn way that we should have the foot on our neck, and somebody for 9 minutes, sitting here pleading for his life. Like I said earlier, Fast, I was fucked up. You know, I heard that I can't breathe before. I done heard that.
Right.
But to hear him cry out for his mother, yo. He cried
You
out
know
for his mother.
You know what that means? That means if you hear him cry out for his mother, you know that means that it's all the things that mama told us not to do is replaying in our head. And you basically saying, Mama, I'm sorry for dying like this. That means as a black man, to the minute you die, you still feel fucking guilty for allowing yourself to be in that position.
And listen, I got this statistic from my guy, Don Lemon. He said the number of police killings in the U.S. is disproportionately affects African Americans. Despite only making up 13% of the U.S. population, Black Americans are 3 times as likely as white Americans to be killed by police.
Yeah,
3 times.
Yeah, and the police are the 6th leading cause of black men. They better get their guns or give us some book. Hey, listen, I brought something for you. This is since we ain't one or the other. You see this?
Yeah.
One or the other. You choose. You choose. Because right now we're not scared of no education. We made, if it wasn't for us, y'all wouldn't be eating no peanut butter and jelly. Y'all wasn't stopping at no stop signs. Y'all couldn't straighten out y'all hair. Y'all couldn't do nothing. If you invest in young black men, you got McDonald's, Home Depot, Huggies, fucking sour cream, everything rocking the hip hop. We are a beautiful specimen sprinkled upon the USA. We need education. We need housing. We need equality. They say vote this, vote that, vote this, vote that. Y'all change the votes. Y'all cheat on the votes. Yeah, we can vote, you know what I mean? But at this point, big homie, we will not stop pushing till our agendas are met. Usually we do something and then we pray that things change. You do something and then you let up. Nah, man, you're gonna have to meet all of our agendas, and these are young agendas. These are we want to graduate at a rate that of the white children. We want to change the literacy gap. The people from K through 5 can't even read in Minnesota. You wouldn't even imagine that with all this disposable income up here, big homie.
Yeah, listen, I believe, like, you know, in Minnesota, you're 4 times as likely to be killed by law enforcement there. So it's 3 times, but it's 4 times in Minnesota. And I tell you something, man. I was just thinking about this today. We fight for cancer. We fight for equal rights. We fight for women's rights. But we have a limited focus on the biggest disease. And police brutality is a fucking disease, yo. It's a disease. The lack of education is a disease. The lack of economic justice is a disease. And we don't. And here's the promise. Number 1, I'm coming to Minnesota. That's number 1. Number 2, I'm putting together a coalition of people that's gonna look like us, talk like us, walk like us, and we ain't scared of nothing. Ain't nothing they can say to me. Ain't nothing they can do to me. You can take it all back. I come from a place that I never had. You can take it all away, and I still know how to get it. And I'm going to make sure that you're at that conversation, at that table with me, because I don't want another brother to feel like they can't do anything.
I got my team out here, the NAACP, all the homies. We got gang members, everybody out here. We got long guns, short guns. The police just came in here and said, you know what? You guys are really disciplined, and y'all got y'all shit on lock. I didn't know y'all had so many guns. Y'all scared us. I've been going to this church for 20 years. Do you know that the only thing that make my mama happy right now is paying her tithes? And I'll be damned if I let some weirdo that's not from my town make my mama unhappy. So I'm going to make sure that $3 million structure stay there so I can do my Toys for Tots like I've been doing the last 10 years. So I can come and cry on a random Wednesday when I'm trying to get these demons off. We have always been the protectors of our neighborhood. You have people who want to be great, but look around, there is no conduits for us. We have no conduits. I can't go to A5, Kev. You see what I'm saying? I can't get on the A train and ride it to Midtown and come see you. So what I'm saying to you, Kev, is I appreciate you. I appreciate the platform. We need help down here. But until we can get some help, we're going to stand on our own 2 feet. And we're going to do it intelligently. We're going to not allow them to put that bullshit in the game and kill one of us because we're arming ourselves. We are under the Huey P., Bobby Seale, Mamiya Abdul-Jamal if we got to. You hear me? Because we're not playing with these people. We live in a town where the chief of police care had to sue the police department for racial discrimination.
Yeah,
the chief of police. So if they discriminating against the chief of police, what you think they doing to a fat nigga in a foreign car?
Yeah, you know what they're doing.
You tell me.
You know what they're doing.
They putting the whole. They got a man. So it's a lose-lose situation. So I think that we need to change the variables. We're going to tighten up. We're going to get more into building our own economic structures. These things have been torn down. I said something that was crazy, Kev, and you know I have been appointed the president for the Arc of Justice out of New York. Reverend Christian Joy. Yeah. You know, he's been mentoring a lot. You know, JoJo Brim is one of my mentors. You know what I'm saying? So I've been counseling, you know, but I got to counsel like this. You know what I mean? There is no this. You know what I mean? I mean, we do it over the cameras. I love you. You one of my mentors. You know? You know what I'm saying? But I was made the Arc of Justice by the president of the Arc of Justice, and we have been discussing things that we can do, you know, together. And I said something it might be weird to you too, because when they think measurable, and they think what's realistic and measurable. But the fact that I might be 20 years younger than the person I'm talking to changes my measurability and what's measurable and what's realistic. I think since Minnesota has such a small denomination of African Americans and y'all fucked us so hard, why don't y'all try reparations? Since we're such a small community, they did it with weed. They took one community and legalized it. Why not set up? Maybe we should give our Minnesota black. We held them down so long. We let them live under poverty and police brutality and residential separation and can't get a loan and all that. And why not show the black people in Minnesota that you know, that you care, and that you're aware of everything that you've done, and figure out a reparation program. And then if it can be fit, you can multiply it, you can scrutinize it, you can do this and do that, and maybe apply it to New York, or maybe apply it to Los Angeles. But it might sound crazy to everybody else in the world, but I'm going to demand that Governor Walz demand reparations for black people in his state, because it will be a state thing, not a federal. Which would be a band-aid for all the police ass whoopings and all the, you haven't taught my son how to fucking read, but he graduated. Like, right. Come on.
And you paying the taxes for it. So
I'm these ass whoopings, Kev.
Yeah. My thing. I'm gonna leave you with this, man. You know, racism is a disease, and we put Minnesota on notice. This is not, oh, we just marching for 9 days. No, this is not, oh, we just asking. You can't spoon feed us what's to say. Okay, I'm going to let you look like a man. Hey, guess what? I'm going to let you go to college right now. Okay, good. No, we don't need no more spoon feeding. We know what success look like. We know what equal opportunity look like. We know what having a great education looks like. We know what being a man first, a black man first looks like. So we're not letting nobody fuck that up for us no more. So Fats, I love you. You know, Minnesota, stay strong. You know, he's one of our leaders. And I'll see you soon. I'll make sure I hit you on the jack when I come up, all right?
You know, I love you, brother. I love you. I love you. I love you. And thank you for helping me turn into a corporate thug, man. It's a great thing. I love.
You know, Fats, thanks for keeping it 100 or 300. You know, so I'm waiting for X to get on.
No peace.
Yo, X.
No peace.
No justice, no peace. What's up, brother?
Okay. Right now, we're headed down. We're right close to the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens.
X, I just wanted to check in. I just wanted to check in and let you know I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody out there. All of us got different roles to do. So keep doing what you're doing, man. And make sure they know that we're freedom fighters. We're first line responders. and we're no longer taking the bullshit that America is putting in front of us. All right, Black Lives Matter.
All right, Kelly.
Next spot I want to go to is Houston. And, you know, I got my girl, Ashley.
Hi.
Ash, what up,
Hey.
girl?
I saw the shout out to Houston, Megan Thee Stallion and Beyonce.
Oh, yeah. Listen, you know, I got a lot of deep roots down there. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking to friends around the country, checking in on my Black cities, checking in on the cities that, you know, everybody's on the front line. And, you know, I wanted to check in with you. You know, George, you know, is from the 3rd Ward in Houston. You know what I mean? He's going to be actually buried in Houston. You know, they're going to have a public viewing there on Monday. So, you know, welcome to my family. Welcome to family business. So, Ashley, you know, give me the rundown what's happening in Houston right now.
Well, today, you know, we've had protests all weekend, but today they have a candlelight vigil for him in Houston at Herman Park in like 30 minutes. But the biggest protest was the one on Tuesday, the one that reached 60,000 people, the biggest march. And as far as unity, it's the city is united. You know, we're mostly a Hispanic and white. Black is the minority percentage in Houston. And you saw everybody, every age, every race, everything. But the biggest divide here is the discrepancy of our police department and the people. So, you know, our specific police chief, he has had 6, you know, police killings since April 21st with no body. He's not releasing the body cam footage. So also I wanted to bring DJ Mr. Rogers in. He's our local DJ.
What up, what up, Young?
But I had to bring him in because, you know, Rogers is front lines for everything. It's him and Trey, they have relief gang. He was front lines at the protest, driving the relief gang truck, giving masks out. So he's been as much in the city more than I have. But you know, the biggest discrepancy, like I was telling him, is between the police force in Houston and the people. Because our police chief, like I said, he's had 6 police shootings since April 21st, and he's refusing to release body cam footage.
We're having a conversation tonight, Trey, Bun, and myself, with the chief and with the mayor, to just discuss everything that's going on with, you know, not just nationally, but specifically here in the city. You know, and want to definitely bring up those cases that he got going on. And
hold him accountable. Ms. Rogers, hold him accountable.
There's other issues that I just got privy of today, which is about the protesters. Like Tuesday, you know, the media is not covering that, but like Tuesday night when it got dark, you know, a lot of protesters, the police had this like initiative where they were corralling all the protesters in certain areas. They had them all on the field. They were putting them on these buses, and they took them all to jail. Peaceful protesters, you know, of course, there was there's violence, there's bad seeds in every batch, right? But for the most part, it's a peaceful protesters. There's people giving the testimonies that are just now getting out of jail because they've been locked up for the past, you know, 24, 48 hours. So, man, we got to address that issue because they had like a whole other initiative, like, okay, we're going to try this peaceful protest, but when it gets dark and when it's over, we're going to go ahead and do what we do as cops. And, you know, and there's a lot of accountability that has to be held.
Yeah, you know, I'm not there, man, but I have to tell you, it's, you know, we don't vote for the police chief. Right. We can't vote a police chief in. We can get his motherfucking ass out by putting pressure on the mayor who elected him. We put pressure, but we vote the mayor in. So if you have a mayor that's not addressing a police chief that's oppressing information, you got to hold everybody accountable.
Yeah.
You got, and that information is yours. You pay, it's taxpayers' money. You're paying for it. You're paying for them to protect and serve, not to protect and hide. By the way, they can say whatever they want to say. Oh, they can come and try to lock me up. And oh, I don't give a fuck. I got bail money. Right. I don't give a fuck if I got bail money. And that's why we're donating to relief. Do you guys have a charity in Houston that you would like me to donate for you guys in your name?
Yeah, it's actually Trade the Truth charity. It's about one. We see, and it's angelbynature.com. It's angel singular, so it's angelbynature.com. That's what we use for our relief efforts from back in the hurricane. Trey's had this charity for about 14 years. So that's what we're telling everyone if you want to donate anything for the cause. And what we're doing is we're aligning ourselves with a lot of local Black lawyers who are working pro bono we're aligning these funds. We're aligning with them so we can distribute these funds to the protesters who've been getting locked up, so we can get them out, get them bail money. What they're doing, they're issuing these conditional PR bonds where if you got arrested during protesting, if you were peaceful or not, once you get out, you're on bond. The condition of your bond is you can't be at any other protest. You
right.
immediately go back to jail. So, it's kind of like putting them out on parole, and it hurts the cause. It depletes our numbers, the strength in the numbers. So if there was another protest, say another murder happened today and we want to march tomorrow, if you were arrested, you're not going to go. And then you're going to scare all your friends from going because they're like, yo, I got arrested. I'm not trying, and the treatment's been horrible. And these are college kids who never had any strikes or have never been to jail, so they're traumatized by the way they've been treated and all that. So they're doing, man, it's a lot of stuff that's not getting covered on the media. So what we're trying to do is stand in the middle of that as a front line, and then also like financially help the kids out and the people that don't have the funds to get out of jail or get lawyers and
Yeah, well, listen, I'm making a donation. My people are going to follow up with 300, and myself. We're going to make a donation to Trade the Truth and the bond fund, the bail fund. Because I want to appreciate you guys for coming, and I want to say, a lot of artists now are giving proceeds of recordings, and Beyonce and Meg got together and said we're going to take 50% of the proceeds and give it. We're over $700,000 raised for the cause in Houston, and I'm glad two sisters came to do it together in Houston. And like I said, whether it's Trade the Truth, whether it's the a bail fund or whatever's there, you guys got me direct. Make sure that you reach out, because racism is a disease. Police brutality is a disease, and we raise money for all diseases, no matter what they are. But we're not raising enough awareness and money around police brutality and racism. And I'll leave you guys with this: hold them motherfuckers accountable, man. Hold it. And if you go live, if you have them on live tonight, I'm gonna come on that motherfucker. And by the way, I'll say whatever you need me to say, how you need to say it, because I told people last week, we all here for a reason. I wish you guys the best of luck. Get through the pandemic. Be a better you. Let's get to the other side, and let's make a better America. Okay.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. God bless you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're going to Los Angeles. He is Mr. Los Angeles. This was so necessary to me, and reaching out. When I lived in LA a couple of times, you guys embraced me, and I'll tell you a quick story that made this funny to me. And I don't know if you remember, I was at a club, had a show. It was me, Redman, and Bill Evans. We leave the club, and I see the popo following me, or the police following me, and the police following me, and I'm wondering. I say, Reggie, it looked like the police following us. Is everybody clean? We whatever. And so we get the light flips, and I'm like, oh fuck, it just don't feel right to me. So all of a sudden, I see the helicopters, the police. Shit. This is on Sunset Boulevard, and so they say, passenger, right-hand side, arms out, step. So Reggie gets out, back up. Passenger, backside, back up. Everybody thrown to the ground, whatever. Then say, the driver, hands out the window, step outside. I had my pager, and back then, my pager in my lap, and I was afraid that if I got out, it's gonna drop, and then they would think it's a gun or something. So I'm telling them, I got it, blah blah blah. Of course it drops, and you hear the click click click. And I'm like, I have nothing. It's a pager, but others have me back up. Then they rush me, and man, I felt, and I'm 300 something pounds. Then they said, put your arm. My arm can't get behind my fucking back. I don't know. Gun to my head. I don't know. I'm like lost. So they get us and sit us up, and they say, someone came on the radio, wrong car. Oh yeah. And I tell you that story that it happened to me as the president and CEO of Def Jam. That happened to me, and then luckily I made it. And it wasn't, I'm here to talk to you today, big boy, but you done seen the same issue happen over and over again. You're on the radio every single morning talking about it, and you're living it. So I just wanted to check into LA and get the gospel from my man, who I know has his ear to the streets, and also the people follow.
You know what, man, with LA, Kev, people are tired, and people been tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, what we see going on across the country in many, different cities and states, that's from people being tired and people having, either a whisper or no voice at all. People rights being violated. I'm not the one to say go out and tear the fucking city up and burn down our community, even though we see that a lot of people that don't live in a community are the ones who's coming out, you know, breaking windows and starting and, you know, leaving bricks in different towns and breaking up concrete and all that shit. But people are tired, bro, and we've been tired for a while, man. And I don't know how many cheeks you have that you can keep on turning. You know what I'm saying? To go from, you know, turn the other cheek, you turn the other cheek, then it's like, fuck it, let me turn the other's cheek. And I think that's what we're doing right now, man. I feel that also, Kev, that we need to, you know, you're seeing it now where it's starting to slow down a little bit as far as, you know, I don't know if the looters and rioters got out there and stole everything already, you know what I'm saying? But it feel like the protest is becoming a little bit more strategic and a little bit more focused. And I'm just saying what we've seen in the last few days, you know, the real protesting, the riots, the looters, the people that, you know, walk in the front line, people that's hiding in the shadows, keep that same energy when it comes around to November. And I'm not just talking about voting out presidents and voting in a president, whatever it may be, but also, man, we wonder why when we roll down the street, you know, we have the most potholes in our community because we don't show up. Why are we lacking funds in our public schools? Because we don't show up. And people think, oh man, my vote doesn't count. Your vote counts, you know, and people that show up understand that if you don't cast your vote, somebody's going to cast your vote for you. And I had an interesting conversation with Snoop Dogg, right? And Dogg is, you know, he's on the front line. You see him on his IG, you know, and Dogg, he's from the turf. And it was crazy talking with Snoop. And Snoop said, man, I've never voted in my life. Even when we were casting like the votes to making sure that Obama got in, Snoop never, you know, never voted. So just hearing that, he said, man, I'm going to vote this year. And Dogg was like, I can't just, you know, talk about it. I got to be about it. And I think what I'm seeing in Los Angeles, Kevin, man, I'm seeing a unity. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing a unity, and I'm just hoping that this unity is real. If we didn't come together in an outrage, however it was, bro, we wouldn't have seen the other three get charged, arrested. We wouldn't have seen Chauvin, you know, the animal that rested and put all his weight on Brother George's neck. We wouldn't have seen him get arrested so fast. I never heard of third-degree murder in my life. You know, they put it to second degree. I know people that's had, you know, that's done way less, that had more than a $500,000 bail. So we see the trickery there as well. When it comes to Ahmaud Arbery, bro, that was done. Those dudes were home for like 73 days, bro, over 2 months. If we didn't come out and start talking, it wasn't about the video that was being shot. Like they said, man, it's because we saw the video. And we have to make sure that we continue to call out people and come together and hold people accountable. We got a hell of a road ahead of us. Getting arrested is really just the beginning. And this isn't the first. And you know, Kevin, it's not going to be the last. But we got the attention of what can be done. And I'm not talking about tearing down the city. I'm talking about unification, bro. Like they see that now people aren't going to just continue to stand for it.
You know, you're for the cause, and you know, I love my brethren, you know, out there. You know, I just, you lived through Rodney King with me.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
You lived through what every, you know, and why people say, well, why do y'all make the music you make, motherfucker? Because you ain't dying like us. You know, why we talk the way we talk, because motherfucker, you ain't got a knee on your neck like we still have. And even to this, I'm encouraging people. You know, get to know your local congressman, your local senator, you know what I mean, your local officials that are going to allow you to have a voice that you need. And y'all got some beautiful mayors out there, you know, of the local of cities. You got beautiful congress people. You know, I've done so much work there. I just need you to continue your voice. And I wanted to put it in perspective, man. I done heard the word "I can't breathe" so many times with so many deaths, but I never heard a grown man call out for his mother.
Yeah, man.
When he's dying.
And we're talking about a strong brother, like 6'6". You know what I'm saying? Like Last night, man, there was this thing that was going on where they said go outside with a flashlight and shine your flashlight in the air for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, right? And think about how long my wife went out there with my daughter and they did the light. It felt like they were outside for so long. My wife came in and said, wow, that was long. Think about try to jump rope for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Try to walk up a hill for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Try to do anything for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. It takes a toll on you, bro. And think about someone putting a knee and putting a man's weight on your neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, bro. When I first watched that video, Kevin, man, I watched it and I was looking at it and it was early. I didn't know what I was looking at. I just saw something and I saw, you know, a quick caption. I don't even remember the caption, Kevin. And I hit play and I'm looking at it. And I'm like, dude, I'm hearing the people, you know, let them up, bro, calm down. So I tapped the screen at one point and I'm 3 minutes in and it still looked like I got 6 minutes to go. And I'm like, dude, what am I watching here? And I said to myself, I started praying. I said, please, God, don't let this man that died on here.
Yep.
And when I said, well, you know what? It wouldn't be posted if he didn't pass. And as I'm watching it, bro, I couldn't believe what I was watching. When the lady came up, said that she was, you know, like an EMT or she worked in the medical field, check his pulse, allow me to check the pulse. And then when you see the other officer, well, kids, this was happening when you do crack, like not even arresting this man for crack. You know what I'm saying? When I saw the timing of it, I couldn't believe it. Then when I saw them lift his lifeless body up, I knew it. You know, I was praying it wasn't so. And then when I saw him lift his body up, I knew so. And Kevin, I'm telling you, bro, I knew that we weren't going to stand up for it. And once I saw the collective of, you know, the brown, the Caucasian, Asian, Native, all ethnicities felt this pain, bro. And that's when we continue to hold people accountable. The next person in uniform, maybe they'll think twice. If they don't think twice, maybe thrice. You should only think once. That show you also, bro, that those men were cowards. They were monsters. Because, Kev, you've been in situations in your life, bro, where you had to tell somebody, hey, man, be cool. Or you had to tell somebody, that's enough. Or calm down. As grown, tell somebody, hold on, man. Hold on for a second. And you got to think, bro, like, you're that comfortable. This wasn't done in the dark. It wasn't done in an alley where somebody just happened to be, you know, shooting from a corner. This was in broad daylight on a boulevard with people yelling at you, people holding their phones. He didn't even look down to check to see if he was killing this man or if this man, as a human being, he didn't have a natural response to just look down when he was screaming out, bro. So I hope he gets thing and then some more and
Listen,
some more after that, bro.
we can no longer sit aside and allow people to kill us in broad daylight. And then, oh, let me think about the charges. Oh, let 2 months go by because, them guys not going to know about it. And I just want to keep up the good fight, man. It's not about one day. And, you know, I'm going to be at everything you need me to be at. I know you're going to be there for me. And I always know, man, I'm just a phone call away. You know, LA, I love you. Please listen to my man, Big Boy, because you're going to hear the raw deal. No cuts. He runs his show. He don't answer to nobody, and just like me, we just say we want to say. So thank you, brother. I appreciate you coming
brother.
on. LA, I love you.
Thank you for having me. My guy. Be good, family. Yes, sir.
Peace. I got my man DJ Bonix about to come in. And yes, this is my second time going to Minnesota, but I have to check in with my guys there to make sure. Yo.
My guy, how are you?
Man, listen, all I can tell you is so good to see your face. It's so good to hear your voice. A lot of times we don't take the time out to just say, you know, God is good and he's allowing us to have this moment together. But before we get into it, I wanted to check on you and the family. How's everything going?
Man, things are wild here. You know, I'm only 3 years a resident of Minnesota, and to be here during this whole thing going off is, you know, it makes me feel for a reason. Kevin, I watched my bank burn down on CNN. You know what I'm saying? I watched my post office burn down on TV. And so to be a part of this neighborhood, and I'll tell you here that this is a one strong community, man. This is one strong community. It was so inspiring that the first night after buildings being burnt, watching hundreds of people armed with brooms, man, armed with brooms and garbage bags cleaning up the neighborhood. So, man, it's really inspiring out here, and we really appreciate you checking in with all of us. And you know, I've been watching for a little bit in every city, checking in with the radio guys and just people that are doing the good fight, man.
Man, you guys are on the front line, and I tell you, understand the power we have. You know, when Stephen Jackson had George Aubrey's daughter on his neck,
Right.
and he said, "My dad changed the world." I mean, I got every time I say it and I see it,
Right.
it sends chills. And I'm calling out every network now that's going to show the 8-minute video of somebody having their foot on that. Show that motherfucking video. Show that how a child might not understand that she's fatherless, but understands that her dad changed the world because he gave us a wake up call to say that, you know, enough is enough. And again, I told Fats that, you know, we gangster when it comes to each other. Oh, you know, I'm better than you. I'm more turf than you. I know this. But when people out here killing us, I don't see. Again, just being a man, I see a guy laying there, 4 guys on him, and he begging. And he called. I said, I can't breathe. I heard before, but I never heard a grown man call out for his mother, yo.
Right. I mean, I eat at the restaurant that right in front. Like, I've ordered from that, obviously, because we're in a time where we have to order, like, that Cup Foods that's right there.
Yeah.
That's like in the neighborhood that I order from. And to see that, you know, I heard Big Boy kind of describing him watching the video. And I saw, you know, it happened in Minneapolis. So I saw a bunch of people in Minneapolis kind of go up in arms about it. And I was like, what video? And someone sent it to me. And I wasn't prepared to watch someone die. And that's what happened. And, man, just seeing watching Greece and Australia and Spain and New Zealand, man, this is worldwide. And just like Big Boy said, we know this ain't going to be the last, but this, you know, Minneapolis really feels like a catalyst. I mean, you know, remember Philando and what it did to this community, and watching that was completely unjust. And to see this happen again in this community, they're not standing by this. There's already discussions of, you know, how to fire the police. I got to give a shout out to the University of Minnesota, First Avenue, the Minnesota Recs and Parks. They've all canceled their contracts with the police department. So imagine all the football games for the University of Minnesota, like, and that's change right there. That's change. And and that's why I love this community, man. And I'm here to fight for it and be a voice and a light where I can.
But listen, anything I told Fats, I'm coming up, so you know I'm gonna check you out. Listen, I just wanted people to know that you don't have to be everywhere, but we everywhere. You're just a phone call away. I'm just a phone call away. Fats is just a call. Big Boy is just a phone call away, and we can affect change. And please encourage Minnesota. Please encourage everybody to go out and vote for your local congressman, vote for your local senator, because those make a difference also. And make sure they get out and vote for this election, because I can't deal with another 4 years of this bullshit that we going through. America's not great having a racist white supremacist as a president, and I'm not backing down from it. I'm endorsing, you know, Biden, and I have his plan for people of color. I'm going through it. I'm gonna make sure we hold everybody accountable for what but we got to get that other guy. I don't even say his name. You know what I mean? We got to get that other guy out of the White House. So I appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you, man. Before you go, I just want to ask you a question, because I'm struggling with this a little bit. How do you suggest people that aren't sure, all lives matter versus Black Lives Matter versus this, like, do we show them compassion, or do we, how do we manage that?
Yeah, I'll give you straight, man. You gotta, it's black and white to me. Black
Right.
Lives Matter. That's
Right.
what Black Lives Matter to me. I like
Right.
I have however you want to say it, and white life can matter, and all lives can
Right.
matter.
Right.
All that shit you can talk everything you want, but Black Lives Matter, and I'm gonna
Right.
stand on it. I'm gonna be on it, and I'm willing to have any constructive conversation around it because Black lives do matter to me. I've seen too many. I'm gone. Y'all can't
Right.
tell the stories
Right.
that I can tell. You didn't come over here 400 years, and we were police when we were on the slave ships, and said, "Well, let me let this one die. Let me let this one
Right.
die." Oh, then we
Right.
get
I
here, we
mean,
get
enough's
police.
enough, man. You know,
We
and I
get
agree
police
with you.
again. You know, I could go on, but brother,
Well, I
I'm gonna check in with
appreciate.
you. I'm move on to the next city. Peace and love, man, and give love to the fam.
Thank you. I appreciate it, my guy. Thank you.
Bless. Be good.
Definitely.
We're going now to my good friend, Reverend Warnock, down in Atlanta, a community activist, servant, a leader, a champion for civil rights. A Morehouse grad. He's a big supporter of what we do here in hip hop culture.
Thank you so very much, Kevin Liles. It's wonderful to be here with you, and thank you for pulling us together in this way. I'm deeply honored by your support and inspired by your artistic genius and management of artists across the years. I'm Raphael Warnock. I'm senior pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church. It's the spiritual home of Martin Luther King Jr. It's America's Freedom Church. But I'm also, in these days, a candidate for the United States Senate. And some might ask, well, how is it that a preacher is running for the U.S. Senate? It gives me a great opportunity to say to people that actually the first Black United States Senator was a preacher. His name was Hiram Revels,
Yep.
and he was elected during Reconstruction, an AME preacher. During that period, Reconstruction, that brief moment when it looked like we had beat back what I call COVID-19, the awful legacy of slavery that
Yep.
began when our ancestors arrived on these shores in Jamestown, Virginia in 1619. After the Civil War, it looked like we had perhaps beat back this virus. And during Reconstruction, it went into remission, but it came back with a vengeance in Jim Crow segregation. We thought the civil rights movement vaccinated us against it, and then it came back in the new Jim Crow, mass incarceration. And that's what we're dealing with in this moment. That's why we need our people to turn out and vote. The good news is that we can win. When we show up, we win.
But we heard a grown man cry out for his mother when he
My
had
God.
the knee of a white police officer on his neck. It just keep. I just don't. I don't know how to. And by the way, you had 3 other cops there that did nothing. And in 2020, a guy sits there with his knee and not even paying attention. Here, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Mama, I can't breathe.
Hand in his
And nothing.
pocket.
How did that make you feel, Rev?
It's deeply painful. It was heartbreaking, and I'll be honest with you. I've seen enough of it to know what happened, but I could not bring myself to watch that entire video. I saw enough, and I heard enough of the reporting. But the truth is, we've been here before. Eric Garner said over and over again, "I can't breathe. I can't breathe." Eric Garner was choked, had the life choked out of him for selling loose cigarettes. George Floyd for an accusation around something that amounted to $20. Meanwhile, Wall Street bankers gambled with our mortgage system and literally sent the economy almost over the cliff, so that a lot of people found themselves in deep trouble, and not one banker went to prison. We need a restructuring of our system. There's something deeply wrong and deeply broken. And it's because, the folks who are in office are very often caught up in an unholy alliance with the people who paid for them to be there. There's too often a cozy relationship between the people in the corporate boardrooms and Washington back rooms. You can't tell one from the other. I'm running against a woman who, when she heard about the coronavirus pandemic, went and made adjustments in her stocks
while telling the American people there was nothing to worry about. And so we need people all over the country who are going to represent the interests of struggling, ordinary people. And you're right, we've been dealing with this very painful situation around the ways in which Black men have been framed as dangerous. When you frame a human being as dangerous, as a beast, you can do anything to them and get away with it. When Rodney King was down on that ground and the police officers were beating him and saying that he wasn't complying, as if, how can you be beaten and not respond? And he's trying to protect himself, but he wasn't complying. Well, if my skin is the weapon, if my skin is the weapon, there's nothing that I can do to comply. Rodney King, that was 30 years ago. 30 years ago. And we were standing up then saying this. I remember when I was in college then, when I was in seminary in New York City, there was an African immigrant by the name of Amadou Diallo who was shot 41 times, 19 of the shots hit by New York's finest while reaching for his wallet on his own front porch in New York City. And I remember the callousness with which then Mayor Rudolph Giuliani dealt with that situation. That was 21 years ago. So when we see the impatience of these young people on the streets, and we want them to demonstrate peacefully and nonviolently, but I want to applaud and celebrate their impatience with injustice. Dr. King said, justice delayed is justice denied. I cannot tell you how many times, as the pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church in the 15 years that I've been there, I've had to preach after this kind of situation. When Trayvon Martin was killed, I preached in a hoodie, and then came Michael Brown, Philando Castile, Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice, Ahmaud Arbery in recent days, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and the list goes on and on and on. Our young people are rising up, and the hope and the promise, if you look over these last few days, is that it's not just Black kids. It is a broad, multiracial coalition of voices of conscience who are crying out and saying that America must live up to its true promise. And that gives me hope, even in the midst of this challenging time. I think these are the bright stars who are shining in the midst of the darkness, and we've got to stand with them, and we've got to remind them to take that same passion to the ballot box, because that's one of the places we can have real change.
You can imagine if everybody who's protesting came out to vote, and if they grabbed their family members and came out to vote, and if they had the faith to believe by empowering people like you, Reverend Warnock, empowering people like Jamie in South Carolina, and empowering a lot of my friends that are running right now. You know, I'm tirelessly, going. I don't call myself a politician or a person of power. I just call myself a human being, and I'm going to forever be thankful for you coming on and ending this day of service that I call it, this day of family business. Everyone know that I'm endorsing, Biden for presidency. I'm at reviewing actually now the plan around African Americans. Everybody know that I'm endorsing you, Reverend Warnock, around everything you're doing. Everybody know I'm endorsing Jamie, and there's a whole other host of people. But I wanted to make sure I just tell you, as a Black man to another Black man, I love you. Continue to live by faith and always focus on the greater good and greater God, and give inspiration and love to your family, okay?
You have been an inspiration to me. Thank you for the ways in which you've been a trailblazer. I love you and appreciate you too, brother. And let's stay in touch. Let's keep this passion alive. We can make a difference. And
Got
we
it.
will.
Bless you, man. See you in a bit.
God bless you.
Listen, I'd like to thank you guys for coming out. Remember, creativity can never be quarantined, and neither can the voice, even the voice of Black men. So Black Lives Matter. Thank you guys for coming out. God bless you, and good night.
Officer, you're killing us. Mr. Officer, what if that was my brother?